The tale opens in 1944, set in the chaos of World War II. Gunfire echoed all around, and across the Pacific we find an American Marine captain called Allison. His squad was ambushed by Japanese troops, but Allison narrowly escaped and climbed onto a rubber raft. He floated by himself in the ocean for many long days. One day, he notices an island appearing in the distance. He quickly paddles toward it, reaches shore, pulls the raft over, and begins searching for assistance. Yet all he can see are only trees and barren rocks. Soon after, he notices a church ahead. When he steps inside, he finds a Catholic nun named Angela walking out. Angela becomes frightened as soon as she notices him, but Allison calmly says, "Don't fear, I am an American. You will remain safe with me." He questions her about how many people still live on this island. She responds that nobody remains on the island except for her. Allison finds it extremely difficult to believe. Angela leads him into her shelter and offers him some food. Allison asks her the reason she is alone. Angela explains she came here with a priest to assist elderly clergy in fleeing from Japanese soldiers. However, when they arrived, Japanese soldiers had already seized the island and captured the priests. Since it was far too dangerous, Angela and the priest chose to hide themselves for several days. Sadly, the priest grew ill and eventually passed away. Ever since then, Angela has remained completely alone. People back home believed she too had been captured, so nobody ever came to rescue her. Allison then begins to share his own story. He tells her he is a Marine and that his squad was attacked by Japanese troops. He narrowly escaped alive with his life and ended up stranded here. After some rest, Allison awakens and sees Angela lighting a candle, praying for guidance from God. Later, the two head out together to search for food. Allison climbs up a tall tree to gather coconuts and fruits, passing them down to Angela. However, he still requires more protein and notices a turtle swimming in the ocean. Grabbing some rope and wood, he climbs into the raft, and soon Angela joins alongside him. They near the turtle, though capturing it proves difficult. Allison tumbles into the water, but with Angela's aid, they eventually seize the turtle and head back to the island. Allison cooks and eats the turtle, declaring, "We already have everything required on this island. Even if nobody ever comes to rescue us, we can still survive." Angela asks him, "Who do you have waiting back home?" Allison replies he is an orphan and lived in an orphanage until he turned 14. After completing his studies, he enlisted in the military to serve his nation. Angela also reveals to him that she is an orphan. She holds strong faith in God, which explains why she chose to become a nun. The following day, they spot a Japanese spider plane overhead, feeling alarmed. Allison swiftly hides with Angela, realizing their lives might be endangered if they are seen. He tells her they should remain hidden for several days and describes a cave he discovered. Angela agrees, and together they shift into the cave, spending the whole day inside. The following morning, they suddenly hear loud, booming explosions. Allison peers outside and witnesses Japanese planes relentlessly bombing the island. Angela becomes terrified and immediately begins to pray. Allison tries to comfort and calm her. When the bombing ends, they step out and witness complete destruction. Their shelter and the church building have been entirely destroyed. Soon afterward, a group of Japanese soldiers arrives to establish a weather station. They even destroy Allison's raft as well. Spotting them, Allison and Angela are compelled to retreat into the cave again. Soldiers surround the area, and Allison grows even more cautious. He tells Angela to hide deeper inside while he stands guard holding a knife. Luckily, the soldiers never enter the cave and ultimately depart. Angela then suggests surrendering to the Japanese, hoping they would not harm a nun and believing it might allow Allison a chance to escape. But Allison refuses, insisting it would be far too risky. They could still end up harming her. They choose to continue staying hidden. That evening, Allison slips out to fish while carefully avoiding soldiers. When certain Japanese troops notice him, he pretends to be dead. Fooled by him, they leave. He manages to catch a fish and returns to the cave where he and Angela share it. However, Angela had quit eating meat ever since becoming a nun. Still, with no other choice, she eats the fish. But later she vomits since her body is unable to digest it. She goes to bed feeling hungry. Later, Allison slips out quietly to observe the Japanese camps. He darkens his face for concealment and sneaks inside a camp to steal food. But a soldier arrives, forcing him to hide the whole night in a perilous situation. By morning, as the soldiers train outside, Allison quietly slips out carrying a bag of supplies. Angela wakes up, notices him missing, and panics, fearing that he is dead. She weeps, but Allison comes back safely, leaving Angela relieved. He explains where he had gone, but she scolds him for leaving without informing her. Allison swears he will not repeat it again. The following day, Allison presents Angela a flower and a comb, making her smile happily. He asks if she has ever considered living a normal life rather than becoming a nun. Angela explains she still hasn't taken her final vows, and the church grants 5 years before making that permanent decision. Suddenly, they hear loud voices and realize the Japanese soldiers are departing the island. They both feel completely overjoyed. With extra leftover supplies from the camp, food is no longer any problem. Allison tells Angela he has always been lonely in his life and has endured countless hardships. But now, he wishes to be happy with her and gently asks her to marry him. After hearing this, Angela is shocked and declares she has devoted herself fully to God. She cannot ever betray such a commitment. Allison feels heartbroken but apologizes if he may have hurt her feelings. That night, while they eat, Allison discovers a bottle of Japanese liquor and drinks excessively. While drunk, he mocks Angela's vows and compares their situation to Adam and Eve stranded on a deserted island. Deeply hurt, Angela runs into the forest during heavy rain and falls asleep shivering in the cold. Allison searches desperately for her but cannot find her. By the next morning, he discovers her lying unconscious. He carries her back toward the camp, but realizes the Japanese soldiers have returned. He brings her to the cave, where sadly her condition worsens. Allison risks his life once more and sneaks inside the Japanese camp to steal blankets and medicine. A soldier notices him, and Allison is forced to kill him in self-defense, hiding away the body. Back inside the cave, he changes Angela's soaked clothes and gently gives her the medicine. For the very first time, he prays. When Angela finally regains consciousness the following morning, she asks who changed her clothes. Allison admits that he did. Seeing her condition, he again apologizes deeply for the words he spoke the previous night. Angela gently forgives him. Suddenly, they hear heavy bombing outside. Allison sees the Japanese bombarding the island once again, probably because they discovered the body of the soldier he killed. He tells Angela everything that happened, and she becomes devastated, praying hard for forgiveness. Japanese soldiers arrive close to the cave and threaten to hurl grenades inside if no one comes out. Angela and Allison both feel hopeless. Angela begins to pray, convinced their end is close. Just then, massive bombardment suddenly begins again. Japanese soldiers outside scream loudly in panic. Allison realizes the American Navy has started bombarding the island. They quickly rush outside to witness American planes striking Japanese positions. They feel very happy, but Allison knows it will not be easy for the Navy to land because the Japanese have hidden 4 massive guns on the island. He tells Angela that God surely would want him to assist the American soldiers. Angela replies he has her blessing. Allison dashes through the battlefield and destroys those guns one after another. Even though he becomes hurt, he manages to save many American lives. The Navy halts bombing and successfully lands safely upon the island. Angela comes out quickly and tends carefully to Allison's wounds. Allison tells her gently, "It is time for us to say farewell. We may never truly see each other again." Angela says, "Even if I never spend my life with you, you will always remain in my heart." The Navy proudly raises their flag. When the captain notices Allison alive, he becomes utterly shocked. They had believed he was already dead. Allison is placed on a stretcher, while Angela quietly walks behind him. Allison never pressured Angela to love him or abandon her faith, and Angela always respected him. This movie reminds us that true love is not always about staying together. Even if 2 people remain apart, their hearts can still remain connected, and that is how the movie finally ends. Friends, if you were placed in Allison's shoes, would you risk your life for your beloved country? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. Thank you all for watching. Please like, share this, and subscribe. We will see you again in the next video.